Good morning, Sheila. How are you doing?
Wayne, I am doing great. And that is because I'm going to say it, we're having a guest host with us today.
Are we?
Yes.
Yay! Well, welcome to our guest and welcome to 27 Minutes with Sheila and Wayne, everyone, where we explore the fascinating world of verbs and their impact on our daily lives. Join us each week as we delve into the different ways verbs shape our language and influence our activities, as we attempt to make a positive difference in our world, one verb at a time. And Sheila, what is our verb for today?
Today's verb is to heal, to Heal. I have to say that because I was walking with my dog and I was saying heal, heal. And I thought, oh, no, no, I need to clarify this.
Okay, to heal.
To heal.
Excellent. And how did and you said we have a special guest?
We have a guest who, in fact, chose this verb. But first, I want to give her introduction.
Okay.
And thank you, Susan White, for being with us here. And you can say hi, Susan.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
I'm sorry. I told you I was going to introduce you, but let me tell the rest of your bio now that we've heard your voice. Susan has a master's degree in education. She has moved many, many times. She's currently a client service specialist. She is also a licensed personal trainer. She's a runner and an SOS mentor, which we're going to talk more about later. She's mom to 3 amazing kids, and I can attest to that. Her favorite thing to do in her spare time is to hike in the woods. Thank you for joining us, Susan.
Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you. It's
Yeah,
wonderful to be here.
and we're excited. And so that begs a question. Sheila, what did you come up with? Heal. What are the definitions that you have?
Oh, I've got
Aha.
one definition. Wayne, I can always count on you for having 6 or 7 more. But the one I've got here is to make free from injury or disease.
Okay. And you know what? While you said that I always have more. A friend of mine sent me a text message last time because she listened to our episode on advise.
Okay.
And she said, after you said exactly what you just said, I have a couple and I know you have more. She says she just laughed because she knew that I was going to have a lot more too. So she
Well,
said she doesn't know why it was funny, but it was just funny.
go ahead and grace us with your wisdom, Wayne.
Okay, here we go. No, not my wisdom. This is the
Okay.
Oxford and Merriam-Webster, all those
Okay.
kinds of people. All right,
Okay.
here we go. To make or become well again, especially after a cut or other injury.
Mm.
Another one that I have is to make or become healthy or whole again. To make well again, to restore to health. To cause an undesirable condition to be overcome, as to mend. To patch up or correct a breach or division, a loss of confidence. I like that one
Interesting.
particularly. Yes.
Yeah.
To restore to original purity or integrity.
Mm.
And the last one that I have is to put an end to something or make something easier to bear, to end or become easier or bearable. And I'm thinking, and you know where I went? I went to relationships and personal and a professional nature. So I liked all of those for those reasons, because it really speaks to a lot of things. It speaks to health, it speaks to relationships, period, and it speaks to how does one recover from any of those.
Good.
Anyway, but let's hear from Susan. And Susan, why did you select heal as your verb?
Well, actually, when you first talked to me about picking a verb, it was my daughter had just had an incident with her dog where she went underwater in a pool and the dog jumped in to save her,
Oh, wow.
landed on her head, and gave her a big scratch across her cheek and gave her a
Uh-oh.
concussion. So
Ah,
we
I'm
were
so
like
sorry.
on the mend for heal. And there was a lot of thoughts of hopefully the scar heals, that it doesn't leave a mark, and that her concussion, she had to postpone the test.
Oh.
And then she's just finished her MCATs, and so she's heading to med school, which it's like she's going to be a person that heals people. So it just was a natural connection to
Well,
heal.
and in this case, it would have been appropriate to say to the dog, heel.
Exactly. It all came full circle.
Wow,
wow.
that was quite a day.
That's amazing. And Sheila, where can our listeners find you?
Oh, thank you. Zeke, my golden retriever, and I share a Yahoo account, and it is Zeke and Sheila at yahoo.com.
And I can be found at Wayne at mindsyncing.com. And mindsyncing again is spelled MINDSYNCING.com. So if you have any comments or thoughts, please pass those along to us. And I think Sheila has a special message for you today about how to contact Susan.
Susan, you mentioned in your bio that you are an SOS mentor. And so I'm going to ask you to tell us what that is. But if anybody is interested in learning more about that, you can contact either Wayne or myself, and we will forward that on to Susan, and she'll get back in touch with you.
Yes, as an SOS mentor, it's an opportunity as a breast cancer survivor that I can meet up with other people that are going through the early processes of breast cancer and answer questions for them, not give any medical advice, but just to be someone that they can talk to. And they try to match up mentors with a current breast cancer patient with similar diagnoses so that we can just be supportive of each other and help each other to heal. So
fantastic.
It's an excellent opportunity that, and I just have to add on your definitions, one of the ones that I love the origins of words, and heal actually is a Proto-Germanic word. It comes from kalais, which is means to make whole. And
nice.
So I liked the idea that when you heal, you make whole.
Yes, excellent. And very apropos, we're coming from two perspectives here. One, your daughter's dog saving her from the pool.
Saving, quote unquote.
and you with the SOS group that you're doing, and both of them are in healing processes. That is so very cool. And again, really, thank you for being on the show. We're excited to have you here. Yes, absolutely. So
thank you so much.
and you're a cancer survivor, obviously. And thank you for sharing that. I know that's very personal, and this is a public space, but thank you for sharing that. Really, really, really. And congratulations to you and all the ladies that you have helped and coached along the way.
Yeah.
Well, I figure it's been 16 years, so I can put it and say, I had years where I went to shared it, and I was very traumatized by it, but I've had time heals all. So
okay.
We just keep going back. That it's a journey, but first, now I can say 16 years later, I'm healthy and happy and ready to help other people. And that's one of the things with SOS that they do check to make sure that the people that come in have training so that we are emotionally healed enough that we can then work with other people without it traumatizing us further.
Excellent. Great. Excellent. And Sheila.
Yes, Wayne.
What were your thoughts when you found out we were going to do heal?
I love that Susan just said emotional healing, because I started researching the word and I came up with physical healing, emotional healing, and spiritual healing. And I could see several points as Susan was describing her process of healing from breast cancer. I could see where they could apply to those. And I don't mean to be underground about this, but Susan, I think our listeners might or might not know that I'm also a breast cancer survivor. And so I love being on the same team with you.
Yeah, it's supporter. You always see people, and it's very, very common. 9 times out of 10, if I sit down at a table and I say something, there's multiple other people at the table that have been through the same journey. It's just we're healthy, and it's nice to see people that are that have come out the other end. So
Amen.
That is that's an emotional hurdle, and it's a nice it's an emotional support.
Right.
Definitely.
And I think it's great that you are able to do that, because I remember, because my mom passed away with breast cancer many years ago.
Okay.
And when she first found out she had cancer, it was one of those things that you didn't mention the C word. You didn't talk about it at all. Right. And now today it is so different. And so I'm enjoying hearing what you two are saying, because it is now an open kind of a thing, and the support that people garner from it, from talking with other individuals, obviously, I think helps start that healing process. Am I off base with that, or is that true? Susan?
I think you definitely have to heal yourself, and then you can support others. And the world the entire process is such a different place now. I was stage 3. It was And there were people out there, but it's just the diagnostics are so much better, and it's been leaps and bounds. They were making huge discoveries in the process of my treatment. And I don't even know how much has come forward since then. So hopefully, but it's one of those things that my experience is becoming different, more and more different from the new people coming in, because the survivors are just out. It's more likely to survive it than not. So.
Right.
Excellent.
Right.
Excellent. That's
wonderful news.
It is. It's almost 180 degrees from what it used to be, where you heard C words and everyone thought, okay, this is it. And now you're saying, there's more survivors than not. So excellent. Yes.
Right.
And Sheila, where did you go with your research? What happened? What was the path you took?
First, as I mentioned, looked at physical healing and physical recovery, and I started researching a little bit about regenerative medicine, which is a fairly new field in medicine today. And it might be something that Susan's daughter would be researching when she goes to medical school. But essentially, it's using the mechanisms that your body used to heal itself, like with a cut, only taking it a little bigger and teaching your body to heal itself by using, for instance, tissue engineering, like skin grafting, or the goal is to reboot your organs or tissues as opposed to replacements. Stem cell therapy, using your own stem cells, is another example. And also, this was interesting to me, what they call biomaterials, which is getting a 3D printed scaffold, essentially, that you put back in the body where your new tissue covers it. Kind of like when you're replenishing a coral field. Obviously, you wouldn't use coral or a foreign object like that. But I mentioned adult stem cells. You can also inject your own stem cells into an area where disease or tissue damage has occurred. And I know many people who have done this for, frozen shoulders and things like that. But essentially using technologies and machines to support failing organs.
Okay. And who wrote that article?
Wow, funny that you should ask. It was 2021 and WebMD by Shashira Scrinavies.
Oh, okay.
I say that fast. Shashira. Yep.
Okay. And Susan, what would you like to let the audience know about heal, and why it's such a good verb? Why is it such a good verb?
It's amazing. It's an amazing verb because it crosses the boundaries between the physical and the mental. And, when you're looking at a mind-body connection, as a matter of fact, there's a documentary called Heal that talks about all of the mind-body connection. And one of the things that when I'm trying to run further, they say a lot of running is a mind over matter, that you can break through that wall if you use your mind. And whenever I'm sick or if something goes wrong, it's like you can use mental relaxation. You can actually help yourself heal by using mental, because you can, by exercising, they've got studies that show that by exercising, you reduce depression more than antidepressant meds.
Really?
Actually, because it increases your endorphins. And so there are a lot of studies, or then when you look at placebos, that a lot of times a placebo can cause healing just because your mind believes it can cause healing. And so I love the fact that heal is such a powerful word between emotions and physical and like Sheila said, with the spiritual. So it's a healing word.
It is. It's a healing process, and the word is also healing, just hearing it.
Right. So I just thought that when it came to me, and with the weekend we had, and we were so worried because it's a big, the gash that she got across her cheek is like, you don't want to scar there for life. So it's just like, you're really thinking, let's do everything we can to make this heal. And so it was just a word that called to me.
Okay. And as a runner, you just told us how you kind of incorporate that into running. As a personal trainer, how do you approach heal with individuals that you train, or do you not get there at all?
Well, every person that you train would also have the same, because you're pushing them to a boundary.
Okay.
If you're exercising with someone, you kind of have to know their personality, and you have to be able to push them at in a way that's going to benefit them. Some like more of a hard push, and some like to be coddled to encouragement. And so you kind of have to know your client. But for me, when I first started running, I always tell people this, in Runner's Magazine, which magazine's probably digital somewhere now, but they had the Penguin Chronicles, and it was stories of why people started running. And a lot of it was for emotional reasons, for personal healing moments, or that it was something that was traumatic that occurred and they start running for that reason. And they're not running for speed, they just run to get out, and the endorphins that they get. So yeah, with personal training, there's a lot of, I wouldn't necessarily, I've never thought of it as healing, but I guess you're right, because you're trying to teach them to push themselves and heal their body through exercise. So,
well, I have 2 strikes against me. Because I was a sprinter, I was not a runner. And in the military, we had to run, a mile and a half or 2 miles under a certain time. And I hated that because I learned how to sprint. So I always ran on my toes, the balls of my feet, my toes. And in running, I understand you're supposed to, do heel toe thing. I never learned how to do that. And I never found those endorphins of which you talked about. I stopped on the corners. I would ask people who passed me by, hey, have you seen the endorphins, or do you know where they are? Do you have extra that you can give
Point me in that direction.
Exactly. And I used to lift weights as well, so that I could play football and baseball, bigger, better, stronger. And I was always of the opinion, no pain, no pain. So I never had to heal, because all the people I was lifting with, they were, hey, no pain, no gain. No, I'm like, no pain, buddy. Because if I heard it, I don't want it. I didn't like pain. So those are my 2 strikes that are against me.
Well, absolutely. Well, when you run on your toes, that is a sprinter's run, because it does make you faster. And also, if you're a little pigeon-toed, it makes you're faster. So a couple little runner tidbits. But
now, who told you I was pigeon-toed? Oh my goodness! How can you see through this microphone?
Because if you're a little pigeon-toed and you run on your toes, you're probably faster. And then one thing I learned recently, which actually my daughter told me, was that I was a swimmer through high school, and when I run, one of my big overcomes, I can't breathe. That I stop being able to breathe. And so I'm like, my fingers get tingly because I start hyperventilating. And she said, well, you probably have that because you're a swimmer, you breathe deep. And for running, she said, you should breathe a little bit more shallow. You don't want to breathe super deep. And I thought, so I started trying that, and it really helped. So just a little tidbit to the runners out there.
Okay, so that's strike 3 for me, because I swam and ran. So
Wayne,
you're out. That's it.
Yes,
that's 3.
I am out of there.
Well, but I always say I'm a penguin runner, so I like to just run to get out in the nature and to see the sights, and it's just kind of it's a relaxation thing. So I've never in my life run to compete. So I've never sprinted. I've never done track. It's always just been for me. So
yeah.
Yep. So I wouldn't call anything that you've said a strike, because if you're doing it because you love it, then I guess
I ran
no pain is no pain.
I ran because I had to. I didn't love. Okay, funny story.
Okay.
When we first moved into the neighborhood in which we live, I would go out and do walking, and walk 3-4 miles. I practiced and trained for a marathon, so I walked the marathon. And a lot of the neighbors who were out running say, "Hey, Wayne, don't you run?" I go, "Nope, I don't run." And so that got around that Wayne doesn't run. So, okay, they always see me walking. And one day, one of my neighbors kind of ran by, and she said something to me, and I didn't hear her. So I jogged and caught up with her and asked her what she said, and we're still running. And so she kind of told me and said something else. And by the time she realized it, we had run maybe about 1.5 miles. She said,
wow.
I thought you said you can't run. I said, no, I said I don't run. I didn't say I can't. I choose not to.
choices we make.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes. So healing, Sheila, what else you have? What's such
You
a
know,
good word, isn't
along
it?
the lines of emotional healing and spiritual healing, I started a little list of things that can help you in all of these categories: physical, spirit, emotional, spiritual. One of those is music. Have either
Ooh,
of you ever used music that just takes you out of yourself and puts you in another place?
all the time.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yes.
I
They're talking now about pink noise and brown noise. And of course, we've heard of white
White
noise.
noise.
And these can help synchronize your heartbeat and your rhythm, your brain rhythm, to help you get into a healing state of mind, of being, I should say. So,
And
and
what
Susan,
absolutely.
I interrupted you, Susan, when you were about to say something.
Oh no, I was just going to agree with you on it, and I was thinking biofeedback is based on that. That
Yes,
it's the
right.
I've never really done it with music that has lifted me out of it because I'm not as much of a, but just the noise, like a quiet noise, or
Uh-huh.
when I'm at work, I play study music, and that
Ah,
way it's just a constant, no lyrics. I can't have lyrics, but it just kind of takes the rest of the world away, so you're just relaxed and you can focus more.
nice. Nice.
Um,
Study music or study noise.
and I'm looking
mhm.
at the clock, and the clock
Uh-oh.
says 21:13. So we have time. We
Okay.
do. But Sheila, you said two types of noise, and I've never heard that. Can you tell me the differentiation between pink noise and brown noise? I never heard that.
Brown noise has a lower, I want to say, volume. Pink noise has a slightly higher. Both of them sound very similar, like water running or just, a background
Ah,
neutral sound like that.
okay.
But one of them has a lower frequency, as I understand it.
All right. So when we see all these things on TV and these ads about the listening to a waterfall or a
Yes.
stream, is that brown noise or is that pink noise?
You can have that in white noise, pink noise, brown noise. For me, it would just make me have to go to the bathroom all the time.
Okay. Okay.
So not good to have the
Not
water
good.
sound in the background.
Yes. Yes.
Makes me
Okay.
anxious. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Susan,
Yes.
22 minutes. What do you think is the most important part in the healing process?
To leave it alone and let time
Mm,
heal.
mm,
Okay.
That there's a statement that when I said to make whole, regardless of whether you're providing the cure or if you're trying to heal a wound or an emotional, or it's about time. So I would say the most
mm,
important thing with healing is not to rush it and
mm.
to be
Mm,
patient, to heal at your own pace,
okay.
I
All
and
like
right.
to
that. I like that. There's no wrong way to do it.
no, and it's never a rush. It's and
Yeah.
if you're taking care of yourself or if you're taking care of someone else, it's patience with other people.
Hmm.
It's patience with whether it be an emotional of you're being patient with their opinions or
Hmm.
patient with
Mm,
their which I just feel like you can heal yourself by listening to others,
hmm.
and just giving time to take it in. Um, and just like on a wound, you can't pick at a scab. You have to kind of
Right.
let it heal itself,
Good
and
point.
so it can become whole. And the less you poke at it, the less scarring you will have.
Good point. Good point.
So if you're poking someone when they're emotionally charged, that's poking the
Yeah.
bear.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need,
Okay.
sometimes it's I need a space. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that because one of the articles that I selected, and I haven't gotten into this, but that's okay. It says it's 10 key steps to repairing fractured work relationships, and
Oh,
it's by Susan Ways, not Susan White, but Susan
very
Ways.
close. Very close.
But she says 2 points that you just brought up. One of the points she says is listen for understanding, and you
Mm,
just said that. And her number 10th reason was to be patient. Um, and so both of those are communicated in the same vein of what you just said. Um, there's another one in here that I enjoyed immensely because it says agree on a plan forward and commit. And I think you kind of talked about that with the SOS group that you work with.
mm,
You're committing to each other, aren't you?
oh, absolutely. Yeah,
I
that you're
yeah.
supporting and committing.
Hmm.
Yes. I think that's so important and so cool that you're doing that. Thank you for doing that. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Yes. Sheila, what do you have any quotes for us today?
I do not have any special quotes today.
Oh, I
So
was so
sorry.
looking forward to, I was so looking
No.
forward to quotes today. Okay, okay, Susan, do you have any quotes?
Please come up with a quote, Susan.
No, not at all.
Okay, I have a quote by Louise Hay.
Oh, good.
So
Okay.
you have the power to heal yourself, and you need to know that. We think so often that we are helpless, but we're not. We
Mm.
always have the power of our minds. So
Lovely.
Mm,
Lovely.
great.
Can-
Now, I do have a question about your group. Is the group online? Is it face to face? Is it both? What is the group?
it is face to face. They actually have you, if you want to become an SOS mentor, you contact the program and they have a training that you go through.
Okay.
And hospitals will connect you up with the SOS program, or you can look it up online, and it's actually in, I think it's SOS in DC. That would be the easiest route to find it. But it's an SOS mentor program.
Cool.
Excellent. And how many lives have you touched so far? Probably hundreds or thousands, right?
No, it's further and further between as things get busier. Early on, I was connected with more, and now usually I get connected with people that have had a reoccurrence because I'm so far out from it that I become a lay person where I don't know as much as somebody that's closer to the diagnosis because my experience will be different based on the time that I've been out of it. However, when I had my second occurrence, I did get paired up with more people that were having a second occurrence.
Okay.
So, and then originally I was paired up with people that had preschool kids because I had preschool kids at the time.
Wow.
That is a special, unique need. Yeah.
Right. And so it's just, and I know one of the things with when you're recovering is that you'll find somebody that has gone through it and then you'll watch them just to see how they're doing. Did life go back to normal? And so a lot of it's just, I would take people out to coffee or I'd go have lunch with them or I would, you know, and it's just mostly just so they can see, ask questions that they're afraid of and just talk to someone that's walked in their shoes.
Nice.
So
well, we're honored to have
program.
you. Honored to have you. Sheila, I'm looking at the clock and I have to say, I'm going to have to just turn it over to you, my friend.
Okay. Well, I have, Susan, you mentioned the Heal documentary and also the Penguin Chronicles, and I'm going to research both of those after our call here. But thank you, Susan, for being here and talking with us. As you can see, we run out of time. And Wayne, we hardly gave you a chance to talk, but thank you for helping organize our conversation.
Oh, no, I'm honored to have both of you on the show. Oh, my goodness. It's an honor just to be with you.
Yay. Well,
thank you so much for having me.
Yay, yeah. Thank you to the folks who listen and heard us. We appreciate you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye, Susan. Thank you. Thank you, Sheila.
Thank you,
Susan.
Thank you, Susan. Bye-bye.